Okay, so my coworker confessed to me. Literally a couple months ago, actually. And apparently, this is going on. Blah, 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 blah. This apparently. What? And apparently, this has been going on for 2 whole years. I got hired at my job 2 years ago. Oh my god. That's so fun, you know? Like, oh my god. If you didn't notice in my title, I'm aroace. And if you don't know what that means, it means I'm both asexual and aromantic. Which means I'm not sexually or romantically attracted to anyone. That does not mean I don't want to be in a relationship. It's just that I really value emotional connection over anything. My fellow aces and arrows, you can definitely relate to this. I actually was in a relationship while he had a crush on me, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me start with when I got hired. Just to preface, I have nothing against this guy. I'm more upset about the fact that so many people are involved without me knowing. So let's start here. I got hired at this one fast food chain that will not be named. Just know that this place is too stupidly expensive for how little they portion out their food. And just as an FYI, I'm keeping things as vague as possible, but you can insinuate as much as you want. Okay, so here's me, right there. I'm behind the cash register. I'm newly hired, freshly employed. Literally, this is my second job ever. So I was anxious as hell. It was so bad. And this guy, I'll call him, I don't know. Let's call it, I don't know. Oh my god. Okay, let's call him Jerry. Yeah, Jerry. Anyways, Jerry introduces himself because I'm a new hire, and he tells me that he got hired a few months before me. Obviously, we start talking because we're coworkers. We're gonna have to get along eventually because we're literally coworkers. And he and I got scheduled pretty often together afterwards because we're working the closing shifts, and I got hired to work closing shifts at the time. Of course, I'm gonna get friendly with this guy because I'm also trying to get comfortable working in a new work environment. So I tell him some of my interests. So I tell him one of my interests. And one of those interests happened to be video games. You can probably tell where this is going. I'm not even joking, guys. I was obsessed with Final Fantasy 16 at the time, where this hunk of a man exists. But I'm not gonna tell him how much I'm obsessing over a hot fictional character. That's literally crazy. So I, as casually as possible, go, yeah, I really love Final Fantasy right now because I'm playing 16. When in reality, I'm literally blasting my friends with how hot this guy is. Anyways, he tells me, oh, I've never gotten into Final Fantasy before. And he asks me about the lore and stuff and where he should start. And I'm not even kidding. That's how he started the conversation. Every single time. On the days that I was either scheduled with him or I wanted my discounted food. I'm actually remembering all of this as I'm writing this script, by the way, like actually. When I told him I was building a PC, that's all he would ask about. Like if it's still working, whatever, if I fixed the issues I was talking about before. Like it actually feels like I'm exaggerating, but I'm telling you that that would be the topic of our 5-sentence conversation. And then I'd be like, okay, anyways, back to work. It just felt so repetitive, I guess. And not gonna lie, very awkward. I can't even tell you when we had a conversation that actually lasted longer than how fast it ended. I hope that makes sense. And then I thought, yeah, we got to be pretty close acquaintances. Not really friends, but we're at least friendly with one another. And I thought, yeah, he's a nice guy, whatever. Because at some point he asked me when my birthday was and was like, okay, bet, I'll get you something for your birthday this year. This was in 2024, by the way. And me being who I am, I went, okay, that's so nice of you, dude. Because I'm thinking he's getting me a gift because he's just being nice. And he actually got me a gift. The summer of 2025. I was hired in 2023, by the way. Some weeks before I went on vacation leave, this coworker starts texting me more often. More often as in just random awkward conversation. We just have each other's numbers for work reasons, by the way. This is where I started getting super suspicious. I can't even remember what he was even texting me about, but at one point he goes, as per tradition, I'll get you a gift for your birthday. Motherfuck. This is where I started noticing something was weird. But I was going on about my days like it was nothing because I thought it'd be super egotistical of me to think like, does this guy have a crush on me? I also just didn't want to make assumptions about anything because I genuinely just thought this guy was just really nice. And he is really nice, but I now unfortunately had my suspicions. He really wasn't helping his case either because then he started texting me not a lot more often, but more often than a coworker should. He texted me while I was on a girls trip with my friends for my birthday and was texting me memes while I was out on vacation at the Philippines. I literally woke up one time to a message from him in the Philippines and I straight up said, dude, you do realize I'm on vacation right now, right? And then like he apologizes and stops texting me until I'm back. So remember when I told you that he told me he'd get me a gift again for my birthday? Well, after my vacation, I did end up going to pick it up after my classes and he stopped me for a bit to have a conversation because I don't know how he found this out, but he found out I knew one of his old friends from middle school and he kept me around to talk about it. And he even told me about how he was friends with someone I knew from high school. And then that's where it leads into him inviting me to that friend's birthday party in a few weeks. That sounds like a mouthful. Oh my god. Long story short, I said sure because I found out the friend's girlfriend was Filipino and she wanted to meet me. So I go to this party. It is the most awkward party I've ever been to because I did not know anyone from that party except for my coworker and the birthday guy. And I only know the birthday guy from sports until my old friend from high school miraculously shows up and I'm saved. Thank you so much for dating someone in their friend group, Queen. I love you. After that party, I leave because it got pretty late and I didn't want to stay up too late. So I kind of Irish goodbye to everyone because they're drunk as balls. And I just say bye to the girls and the birthday guy. Then I see a message from my coworker when I get home saying, sorry you had to see me like this, hope you had a good time, because he got drunk. And apparently he usually does not get drunk like that. And I just kind of like said, yeah, thanks for inviting me, kind of ignoring how weird the message was because I knew he was drunk, but also because he didn't really have to text me saying that. Before the party, he was also asking if I wanted to go to study group with him. I think overall, the texting me with non-work related things, the study group, the party invite, it all pretty much confirmed to me that this guy had a crush on me. And I was just kind of hoping he wouldn't act on it. But at the same time, I'm working with this guy. Anything was inevitably possible because I couldn't exactly avoid him. We actually weren't scheduled the whole time together, like pretty lately, since his schedule changed, but that didn't change the fact that he had my number. And so the moment I dreaded the most came. Hey, did you want to go to the bookstore with me so I can look at Legos? I'm gonna be honest, I saw that message and I didn't know what to do. Read receipts are on. I stupidly clicked on the message to reply so he can obviously see that I read it, but I know I can't avoid it. So I replied, sure. And then it proceeded to be like 2 weeks later because I kept rejecting days he was available. I kept giving like, dude, I'm so tired, I can't today, or can't today, I'm busy. It was just excuse after excuse that I could come up with just so I didn't have to meet up with him at the bookstore. The first time though, I was actually so socially drained, I would not have been able to do it. Eventually though, I relented. I just had to get it over with. I'm so for real, I was going with the full intent that I was actually just going to buy some books. I had to cope somehow, guys. So we went, I actually bought some books, and I basically told him, well, since I'm out of the house, I'm gonna run some errands in the store next door. There's a clothing store right next to the bookstore that we were at. We get to the parking lot to drop off my books to my car. I walk ahead of him, and behind me, I hear him mumble, fuck it. And the bomb drops. He tells me he's had a crush on me for the past year and a half, basically since he first met me. And in my head, I'm just feeling kind of bad because I'm not gonna return his feelings. Like, I know in my head and in my heart and in my gut, I'm not gonna return his feelings. My problem was that he didn't try to be my friend first. We never talked as much as we were leading up to that point because, guys, we were literally just coworkers. And frankly, he was scared because he has a crush on me. He's gonna be scared. He told me, you were the only girl that wasn't a guy that I could relate to. And honestly, that just made me more upset because he only liked me for one part of my personality, and that just so happened to be video games that he was also very interested in. And when I tell you I whipped my phone out so fast to text my best friend, I've never seen her reply back so fast. I was actually talking to my ace friends about this because something like this had happened to one of them before, but one of them made a point about how aces don't crush very often and said that crushing might be more serious for asexuals than allos because allos might crush more casually. And man, ain't that the truth. For some background, I was crushing on a friend of mine that led to us eventually dating because I asked him out. And let me tell you, I was doing everything humanly possible to research everything about what I was feeling. This will come back later, so stick around for that. Anyways, I was oh my god, my script is weird. Anyways, I rejected him. As simple as clean and that, Kingdom Hearts reference. I wasn't looking for a relationship. I just didn't have that much of an emotional connection with him that I want in a relationship. He was more relieved. Well, okay, because thankfully he was more relieved than he was hurt. He did have the gall to say, I don't think I'll ever get over you. And I was just like, okay, bro. I'm low-key hating, but whatever, I guess. I didn't really want to leave him like that after just rejecting him. So we still ended up going to the store next door. And I was just asking him questions to help him relax a bit since this guy just confessed to me. Like, he literally looked like he finally let out a fart that he'd been holding in since we met up. So I asked him like, hey, so who knew he liked me? And I was then shot 50,000 times. This guy tells me that basically everyone at work knew. And the party he invited me to? Yeah, everyone at that party knew he liked me and wanted him to confess to me at the party. Because, you know, I thought it was weird how one of the girls I was talking to at the party basically scolded him for not talking to me because she said, you invited her, talk to her. Or how one of my service leader managers at work kept asking me the most random questions possible at work. What's your favorite music genre? Do you play basketball? What do you do in your free time? Bro, leave me alone! He was only asking me these questions, by the way. I did not ever notice him ask these questions to anyone else at work. And I'm not gonna lie, That made me so uncomfortable after, like, knowing that fact now. I didn't even know how to explain. I don't even know how to explain how I felt in that moment. I was like, just know that I was really uncomfortable. And then as I was thinking more about it, it pissed me off so badly because that manager would just ask me so many questions, and I noticed he wouldn't even do that to anyone else. It was just me. And remember how I said that I dated someone previously? Yeah, I was dating someone already while he actively had a crush on me. And everyone at work found out because you tell one person, everyone is gonna know. Especially when most people at work know this guy likes you. You know what's even weirder? While I was on break at work, a coworker is sitting in the office with me with Jerry standing behind her because he just clocked in. She randomly asks me, "Do you think you have a secret admirer? Or are you a secret admirer to someone?" And I was just sitting there like, what the kind of question is that? Then Jerry asks me, "Don't you have a boyfriend?" And a couple months before this happened, we'd already been broken up, so I tell them exactly that. Well, according to Jerry, as we're standing in this line to check out our things, right? Apparently, when I looked away, my other coworker in the room gave him a look to signal to him that it was finally his chance to confess. He's the one telling me this, by the way. So needless to say, when I was explaining this to my friends after the fact, I was very upset. Because not only did everyone and their moms, except me, know about this guy liking me, they didn't even bother telling me anything. But believe me, I understand why they didn't, but the idea that so many people knew and not one told me made me so uncomfortable and angry, and so I quit that job. It was for reasons completely unrelated to Jerry himself, but the circumstances surrounding it made it worse. Maybe I'll make another story about why I quit my job. Oh, I just shouldn't have said the workplace. I couldn't trust anyone at work anymore. And also, I couldn't stand working at this place anymore because my racist, passive-aggressive general manager at work was insufferable. She changed my schedule without my permission. And just everything about that work environment, I'd had enough. Because the next day after the convention, I sent in my 2 weeks. I gotta admit, my timing may not have been the best. But you know, if I was thinking about quitting already, then I may as well have just quit. And get this. When I went in for work the next day, that same service leader stopped asking me random questions after the confession. So yeah, he basically confirmed to me that he was playing messenger with info about me to Jerry. At least that's how I saw it, because it was just weird. Anyways, that was a lot. Yeah. Thanks for watching.